Hello, I am Alana Granzi, and this is my presentation on textile conservation of historical formal wear. Documentation. An important first step of any conservation, restoration, or preservation project is creating a written statement of an item, including its condition, materials, and techniques used in its construction. It is also worth noting the presence of materials that have inherent weaknesses, such as dyes created by iron mordants or weighted silks that shatter because of metallic salts. Photographs should also be taken to accurately track changes over time, and any detached pieces should be included in this process and filed with the documentation to prevent loss. Everything should be documented. One of the first and most compelling instincts of textile caretakers is to clean what is in their care. This can be either a well-intentioned but poorly thought out attempt at restoration work or an attempt at rectifying a disfigurement from dirt or stains. It is important that this step is carefully considered, as most treatment procedures by textile conservators are reversible. Most cleaning methods, however, are not. Some results may include dyes bleeding or altered fabric texture. Fragile areas could be further weakened or outright destroyed. The damage from this is usually permanent. However, despite all this, there are times when cleaning is necessary. Surface cleaning is the most common cleaning process. Using soft brushes and gentle vacuum suction, surface dirt, pollution, lint, etc. may be removed. It may also be helpful to place a piece of screening on top of fragile textiles during vacuuming or brushing to protect the textile from abrasion or strong suction. Dry cleaning is rarely used in conservation, as the heat and abrasion easily risk fragile items. Wet cleaning, or using water to clean, is perhaps the second most common after surface cleaning. However, it carries its own risks that I covered earlier in the semester. Special cleaning is the last and the most recent, referring to the growing field of cleaning techniques for items of mixed media. Here, specifically fabric with metal threads. As these are still in development, most conservators would opt to leave tarnished or dirty threads as they are, rather than risk the item as a whole. A common issue for historic clothing is often fiber damage or loss in the form of holes, tears, separations, or frayed edges. Factors such as age, fiber content, manufacturing process, pattern, and previous care may accelerate or slow down the rate of damage. It is important to carefully consider all repair work, as it is very easy to do more damage. It is also important to note that some of these signs of wear and tear should be preserved, since they may provide insight into the unique history or storyline of the textile in question, and erasing or obscuring this information may have an adverse effect on the textile's history. Appropriate stabilization of areas of weakness or fiber loss is a very complex undertaking because it requires a deep understanding of a wide range of materials and their characteristics and their long-term aging properties. It requires knowledge of specialized sewing, weaving, and adhesive techniques, and the ability to skillfully execute them. A successful repair will also reflect the conservator's awareness of color and design considerations and knowledge of textile history and aesthetics. Mending in the case of historical textiles should only be utilized when fiber loss or damage is a concern. Minimal intervention is usually the best choice. Preventative care by removing the textile from a dangerous environment or simply stitching, such as a whip stitch, to stabilize an unraveling age are cases where mending is likely the correct choice. Patches of lightweight material, often a nylon net, may be placed over and behind a hole and loosely whip-stitched into place to prevent any further damage to the area until a long-term solution can be devised. When it comes to directly handling a textile, care must be taken. Any spots on a textile that are potentially weaker than others, or any sections that appear delicate, should be supported by sliding a piece of paper or cardboard underneath the support. Clean hands are important to prevent any of the oils that are naturally on the hands from transferring onto the garment or textiles with which you are working. Gloves are options, however they can create more issues the lack of tactility they create, and are often used only when the materials are hazardous to humans. It is also important to be certain to take away any jewelry or accessories that might snag or tear a fragile textile. The three main storage ways for textiles are rolled, flat, and hanging. Flat storage allows the textile to rest in a horizontal position, permitting the fibers to relax and the textile to maintain its natural tension. This can be an acid-free box, shelf, or drawer that is large enough to accommodate the entire textile lying flat. Ideally, the textile should be stored with no folding, as aged fibers can become brittle and break at these points. However, if this is not permissible, then it should be folded with acid-free tissue paper formed into shape and placed inside the fold to prevent creases from forming. A costume hanger is a heavily padded hanger supported by an inert hanging device such as molded plastic or wood that has been sealed to remain inert. Padded hangers are viable options for a clothing article of good construction and are very stable. However, if a piece is heavily beaded, bias cut of a very delicate, complex construction, or simply very heavy, it should be stored in a different method if possible. Heavy items should not rely entirely on the shoulder area for support. Heavy skirts, trains, or separate pieces should be supported by using a cotton twill tape stitched carefully on the waistband or seams, extending up to the hanger. And here is my works cited.